Namastê, boa tarde. Bem-vindos às celebrações do Dia da República da Índia e muito obrigada por estarem conosco neste dia especial. Sei que a comida e dança indianas são a razão da vossa vinda. Portanto, não vos vou amassar em demasia. Excelências, senhoras e senhores, há exatamente um ano atrás, e após 10 anos, sendo numa visita de Estado, o primeiro-ministro de Portugal, Dr. António Costa, havia regressado recentemente de uma visita muito bem sucedida à Índia. 5 meses depois, o primeiro-ministro da Índia, Shri Narendra Modi, tornou-se o primeiro chefe de governo indiano a empreender uma visita bilateral autônoma a Portugal. Estes episódios, num curto período, geraram um volume de 19 acordos e declarações sem precedentes, conduzindo as relações entre Índia e Portugal a um patamar superior. Agora percebem por que me viram tão pouco. E este ano não vai ser muito melhor. Senhoras e senhores, estamos perante um momento fértil nas relações entre Índia e Portugal, porque ambos os países atravessam um período de estabilidade e crescimento econômico, estando empenhados em intensificar as novas parcerias. Em relação à Índia, o Banco Mundial prevê que o país cresça mais de 7,3% neste ano, sendo a economia emergente que mais crescerá nos próximos anos. Este sentimento de optimismo e esperança é mais um elemento de ligação a Portugal. Mesmo com a tragédia dos incêndios presente no coração de todos, este lindíssimo país viveu coisas fabulosas. Foi considerado o terceiro país mais seguro e um dos melhores destinos turísticos no mundo, registrando crescimento econômico mais elevado desde o início do ciclo. E ainda por cima, o Cristiano Ronaldo ganhou novamente a bola de ouro. And now for those of you who are desperately looking for translation from my Portuguese, I will take you out of your misery and switch to English to tell you that trade between India and Portugal grew by 17.2% last year, showing that our two countries are indeed confidently looking forward to a promising future. I'm also pleased to share with you that the 2 prime ministerial visits and 5 ministerial visits exchanged last year have resulted in a number of firsts for this 500-year-old relationship. For instance, Portugal and India signed new agreements in 10 priority sectors for the first time last year. We signed agreements in space, defense, startups, information technology, marine resources, agriculture, renewable energy, higher education, culture, youth exchanges and sports. Sectors ranging from the strategic to the sublime, as you can see. All this has meant that the relationship has indeed moved up to the next level. Last year, we also announced a €4 million joint fund for scientific research and exchanges, in addition to 15 joint research projects and initiatives in areas like biotechnology and nanotechnology. And India joined the initiative to set up the Atlantic International Research Center in the Azores Islands and was accorded the honor and privilege of being the first guest country at Portugal's Ciência 2017 Science Festival. Science and technology was undoubtedly the area where we made the greatest progress last year, and for this I'm grateful to Dr. Manuel Heitor, the Honorable Minister of Science, Technology and Higher Education of Portugal, and his team. Another important first was in the area of startups. Some of you know that when Prime Minister Antonio Costa was in India, we launched the India-Portugal Startup Partnership. And when Prime Minister Modi came here, we launched a dedicated web portal connecting our startups. And now we are working on bringing 10 Indian startups to incubate in Portugal. And here I would like to thank the government of Portugal for responding to our request for easing the visa regime by introducing a new startup visa this year. And last week, there was an interesting and exciting new development on this front. For the first time, a new Indo-Portuguese venture capital fund, a VC fund, was launched to not only attract Indian investments into Portugal through the Golden Visa route, but also to boost Portuguese and Indian startups by investing in them. And speaking of investments, last year we also set up the first diaspora-led business platform called the Portugal-India Business Hub to enhance trade and investment linkages not only between our two countries, but also to third countries leveraging diaspora linkages. And in the same vein, Aguas de Portugal signed an agreement with an Indian entity called VAPCOS for cooperation in water and waste management, including commercial collaboration in third countries. And to spread the word about the enormous economic opportunities in India, we organized 5 business seminars last year, focusing on 3 Indian states in various Portuguese cities for the first time. Here I would like to thank Dr. Paulo Ferreira, the Deputy Minister of Economy and Secretary of State for Trade, for addressing the business seminar in Lisbon and for taking time out to join us here today. Moving from matters of money to matters of the mind and the heart, I'm also very happy to tell you that last year we established the first chair for Indian Studies in the University of Lisbon. It was sponsored by the Indian Council of Cultural Relations. I'm very thankful to the University of Lisbon, especially the Faculdade de Letras, for this and for their support to the many activities of the Indian Studies Center, which included the launch of the first Portuguese Hindi dictionary, including in an online version. So a truly 21st century dictionary. Turning to culture, an important bridge between our two countries, we celebrated the 70th anniversary of Indian independence by anchoring a series of 12 cultural events across the country. And this year, we plan to step it up by organizing a Festival of India in Portugal to bring to all of you slices of Indian dance and music, art and literature, food and films. And I hope to see a lot more of all of you in the coming year. And in this context, I would like to say a special thanks to the Fundação Orient, the Orient Foundation, for their outstanding support to the embassy. While we have been busy doing all this, we have not forgotten that the most important thing is to connect the people of our two countries. And there, I'm very happy to report that we've had many firsts. Only 2 weeks ago, Dr. Nilza de Sena, whose family is originally from Goa, an honorable member of the Portuguese Parliament, attended the first Persons of Indian Origin Parliamentary Conference in New Delhi, which brought together 137 Indian diaspora members of parliament and mayors from all over the world. Dr. Asena is here with us. I thank her for joining us today. And I also want to tell you that she was interviewed on Indian television and she was prominently covered in the Indian media, and I think she has many fans now in India. And day after tomorrow, on Monday, 20 young Indians are visiting Portugal for the first youth exchange program between India and Portugal. And a week later, a group of young Portuguese students are heading to a hospitality training institute in Goa for the first time, reciprocating a similar visit by a group of Indian students last year to Portuguese hospitality training institutes, which was also a first. And when we talk of young people, how can we not talk of football? Last year, India hosted, for the first time again, the Under-17 World Football Championship. And the interesting thing is, the Indian Under-17 football team had a Portuguese coach. With 500 million young people in India, I do hope that there will be Portuguese sports training centers opened in India soon by clubs like Benfica, Sporting, and Porto. And before I make enemies here, a disclaimer, I'm not listing them in any order of preference. Please note. And finally, two interesting firsts. Many of you know that we have a 70,000 strong Indian community in Portugal. Last year, this community enlisted an interesting and important new member, Prime Minister Antonio Costa, who received an Overseas Citizen of India card, an OCI card, from Prime Minister Modi, and also became an honorary member of the Casa de Goa in Lisbon. I would like to take the opportunity here to thank His Excellency Prime Minister Antonio Costa for gracing Indian community events at the Comunidade Hindu de Portugal and the Casa de Goa last year, and I do hope that we'll have similar occasions this year too. And finally, a personal first. You would be surprised to know that as an Indian, I'm learning yoga for the first time in Portugal. From a Portuguese teacher working with the Portuguese Yoga Confederation. Thanks to Portugal, I can now finally bend and touch my toes. It's true, I can show you. You'd be equally amazed to know that more than 1,500 people performed yoga and celebrated the International Day of Yoga in Portugal last June. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we've had a very busy year, and looking forward, we have another busy year ahead with many important ministerial visits planned. And this year, we hope to finalize concrete projects in many important areas, especially space, defense, water and waste management, and in the area of smart governance and digitization. We will also work to bring more Bollywood movies to come and shoot in Portugal. And we promise to work on something that is of interest to everyone here, a direct flight to India. Vasco da Gama took 10.5 months to reach India. And I hope that you and I take only 10.5 hours. Before I conclude, I would like to extend a special thanks to the Office of the Honourable President of Portugal, to the Government of Portugal, especially the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for their incredible support, and to all the entities who worked with us to make the visits of our two Prime Ministers such a success. A special word of thanks for Portugal's valuable support to India in various international forums this past year. And a big thank you to the Indian community for keeping the Indian flag flying high. And muito obrigada to our amazing Portuguese friends whose love for India and Indian culture humbles us all. In many ways, you are the real ambassadors of India, and I'm very grateful to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I extend to you all my warmest greetings on the occasion of India's 69th Republic Day celebrations, and I wish you a wonderful 2018. May I now invite you to join me in raising a toast to the continued peace and progress of the people of India and Portugal, and to everlasting friendship between our two countries. Jai Hind, Viva Portugal! Muito obrigada.